The information discussed in this PILCast episode are merely opinions and do not constitute formal policy or legal guidance of any kind.
Hello, and welcome to another PILCast episode, the series where we discuss federal procurement innovation topics in 10 minutes or less. I guarantee it. I'm David Jablonski with the DHS Procurement Innovation Lab, and today I'm joined by a special guest, Betsy Hutton, the Chief Growth Officer at Simple Technology Solutions. Betsy, thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, David, thank you for having me. It's truly an honor. I'm glad to be here.
Do you want to share a little information about yourself and your organization for everyone out there?
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to. So Betsy, myself, like you said, Chief Growth Officer at STS, also a principal there. But I've really grown up all my professional career in this industry. I've worked for a variety of large, medium, and small businesses, including ICF and Octo, and I'm here now, but also work both in the commercial and the government sectors. I am very passionate about the mission of government, so I find myself in a good spot. My company predominantly does cloud and data engineering services for various law enforcement and public safety missions across DHS, and so this is the place to be.
That's awesome. So everyone out there, so in this episode, you're going to hear from Betsy and learn from a small business perspective what innovative procurement techniques really help the small businesses vendors improve their ability to compete on government contracts. Also, which techniques can be improved in the way they're used to maximize efficiencies. Now, this information will help all of you increase competition for your requirements, which can lead to better outcomes for the mission at your organization. So pay attention, everyone. You're going to get a lot out of this episode. So again, Betsy, thank you again for joining us today. So to dive right in, I really wanted to start off here with techniques that are working well from your perspective that agencies are using or including as part of their procurements. So can you share with everyone just what techniques are working well with everyone out there, and why?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll provide 4 examples, most of which we have experienced recently. Firstly, starting with technical scenarios. This is an instance whereby the government provides specific problem statements, and you can take one of 2 approaches. We are either demonstrating where we've solved similar problems in the past, or we are providing our approach to how we would solve that specific sort of problem. And I've seen this done both as written and as orals. I mean, I think that both are very compelling, although there's something about orals, right? And I think even the feedback I've gotten from the government's perspective is, right away when someone starts speaking, if they're legit or not, right? If they're full of it or not. And so I think that orals technical scenario, double whammy is very effective.
Okay, all right. So that's one you got there. So any others that you want to share with everyone?
Yeah. I'll give you 2 more. So partner certifications, and by this I'm specifically talking about different technology partnerships. I'm in the IT services industry. I'm sure many of your viewers are, and being an integrator and specializing in certain technologies is a core part of that. I think we've seen over the past decade a big move from custom solutions to trying to leverage COT solutions or different PaaS or SaaS solutions. So to that point, a lot of the major technology providers in our space, the ServiceNows, the Salesforce, the Amazons, the Microsofts, they have really sort of built out their partner community and sort of the bar that must be hit in order to be a partner and to achieve certain advanced statuses or competencies. So oftentimes these involve like customer success stories, case studies. Oftentimes they involve having X amount of certified developers or SMEs and otherwise. And so specifically as it relates to like validating technical related competencies, I think advanced partnership statuses across those technologies really kind of help the government, vector in on, who's really good at this, right? Everybody says they do a lot of things, but who's really good at this?
That's a great point.
Third thing that I would mention, corporate experience or corporate maturity. Maybe we'll talk about my disdain for past performance later, but I like corporate experience because it's the focus on solving certain types of problems, doing certain type of work effectively, as opposed to just the set size of that contract scope. So I'm seeing a lot more of that and a lot more of hybrid past performance corporate experience, which I like a lot. And then I guess the last one I'll throw in, which isn't novel, but I want to make sure it continues to happen, and that is advisory down select. Oh, so hugely helpful. And I think it really does accomplish the intent, which is to help small businesses and businesses at large really preserve B&P costs. And, it's just so helpful, David. That's maybe my favorite less novel one.
Okay, got it. So you use advisory down selects, but that was a few good ones there. That advisory down selects ones. So how does that help you save money on it? Like why the benefit on your end as a small business?
Yeah, so in my experience at DHS or otherwise, phase one, it's sort of a gated evaluation process, multi-step. And so phase one is typically either technical scenarios or past performance or corporate experience. And then the government evaluates and issues an advisory notice as to who's likely to be successful. And then based on that, there's a more rigorous phase two requirement that could include anything from an 80-page written proposal, working on something like that right now, or a coding challenge. And so what that allows us to do is to not spend the money on developing whatever that phase two looks like until we hear from the government whether or not we're going to be competitive. So it is advisory. So I do know of companies that are sometimes advised not to proceed and choose to do that. I highly discourage that. I know a lot of folks and companies in industry. I've never seen a company be successful doing that. And, the government is trying to help us. And so I feel like we should respect that advice back.
Okay, that's awesome. I appreciate that. All right, now let's go to the flip side.
Sure.
What are some techniques that maybe aren't working as well that could be improved by the government and the way they're being used?
Absolutely. So big one for me, small business, past performance criteria. And I think it's the ultimate chicken and the egg scenario. Like you have to get it to have it, but they want you to have it to bid. And specifically around past performance is that size threshold.
All right, Betsy, this is great information. And so are there any takeaways or any things that you want to recommend to procurement teams out there as they're building their future requirements to put out for solicitation?
Yeah, sure. So the one sort of macro level thing that I would recommend is just, focus the evaluation criteria more on successfully solving problems and delivering outcomes, as opposed to checking a past performance size sort of threshold box. I think there's a couple of ways that we could do that. We've talked about a few of them: corporate experience, technical scenarios. Two additional things that I've seen recently that really excite me that I think also accomplish that objective are either having product owner focused contracts, or even better, integrating product ownership into agile delivery services and software development requirements. I think that would be really compelling. And then just last thing that I would share, David, is that including the evaluation of domain knowledge and understanding into the procurement. Saw a recent Air Force procurement where they cleansed and required you to crunch their data. And so they were able to effectively evaluate, do you know the nuance of their business and their business processes? People joke that the government likes to believe that they are unique, but you know what? They are unique. These are incredibly complex missions and problems that we are solving. And I think we should be at least head nodding to that in these competitive procurements.
Betsy, thank you so much for dropping in today and joining us for this episode. Really appreciate your time, the wealth of information that you've been able to share with everyone here. Thank you so much. Everyone out there, let us know what you think about this episode in the comments. Please like this video, share this video with your friends, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button so you get all of our latest updates. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you all next time on the next PILCast episode. Bye now.